Hi, welcome to this episode of Yogis that Inspire. So today I have a very special guest, Dimitri Glasgov, who is the co-founder of Sadhama Rewild Retreats and has been teaching self-development systems for nearly 10 years. He has a teaching qualification in 2 yoga traditions, Kundalini and Hatha. So Dimitri is also an Ayurvedic consultant. Let me just see. Hopefully I'm going to invite Dema to come on IG Live.
Hey.
Hi! Yes, it worked!
Yes.
But you're sideways. You're sideways.
Okay, which way? Okay.
You're this way. So we have to...
Oh, let me see. Okay. Oh, no, that's... Yeah. Okay, let me try to do something else. Here we go. Is that better?
Really?
Lovely. Okay.
Perfect. Yes, finally. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to have you. I was just introducing you, telling the audience that you are an Ayurvedic wellness consultant, bringing the sister Vedic sciences of yoga and Ayurveda together to unleash each personal power, which I experienced firsthand on your 5-day immersive retreat with a delicious Ayurvedic diet prepared by Karen and the wonderful volunteers there, and personalized routines for my constitution, which I found, and I'm practicing these days to hopefully, I'm seeing a difference little by little. And I'd love to share that with my audience. So hopefully it can benefit others, and I'm sure it will. And I know you also find inspiration in the deep connection to the magical land in Hardwick Estate in Oxfordshire, and the wisdom of ancient trees for true well-being, growth, and unity with the true self. I loved that tree meditation that we did in the immersive forest, where we picked a tree and allowed you to guide us. So welcome. I'm doing a lot of talking, but now I'll leave the platform to you. Can you please share your experience of the living wisdom of ancient trees?
Well, thank you, Ratika, for inviting and organizing all of this. And I hope we still have few people left after after joining in. It's all about my setting some kind of setting all the apps, not denying them access to my microphones and videos. I think that's why. So probably it's usual, the reasons within us. Yes, the trees, I believe they guided really the whole idea of the retreats we've set up here. So I'm here now in this bubble of the Hardwick Estate, and so bubble within the bubble. The trees here are quite magical, and I was looking for retreat space just before the lockdown happened. I was kind of had this idea of I've done quite a few long group retreats, and that's good. It's all fine. However, you find that after some time, the retreats are there really for you to go within. So any interaction is a bit of a it's not necessarily the best thing for that. So retreats are there for you to peel yourself all these layers of you, how people perceive you, how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to, all that stuff you just want to peel, so to go really deep. And sometimes you need to be alone for this. So I've been looking for that space, and funny enough, just very close to my home, found this like amazing, massive hollow oak, which is so big that you can even do the shoulder stand in it. So I went in and I tried a couple of times, and then at some point I just decided to go for the longer retreat there. So I've packed and I blocked all the light coming through, so to kind of like make the enclosure cave in a way. So the living wisdom cave, like how they normally did it before, the yogis in Tibet and the Nepal and all that area of the mountains. So because I've researched some studies showing when we are in the dark, the pituitary and pineal glands activates its mystical ability to secrete and bring that different experience to us. So I thought, okay, well, it's all very well written. We need to experience, right? So you can, I can't, I think I got to the point where I want to experience now. What is this, those books saying? I kind of don't really trust on it. Just okay. This is another theorem, you know. So understand really, you kind of wanna experience it, particularly if you want to tell to someone. So I've packed myself and went there, block, and did all my preparation to. I fasted before, so I'll be nice and clean there, and don't need to worry too much about that stuff. So, and yeah, I stayed there for almost 3 days. I didn't have a plan how long I'm gonna stay. I thought I'm just gonna stay until it feels good.
Is this inside the tree?
And that's inside the tree, yeah.
Inside the oak tree. So I'll just clarify. Dmitry meditated inside an oak tree for nearly 3 days.
That's right, yeah.
Wow.
So in a way, I kind of like become one with it, and it was funny. There was one thing which came back to me, because for the first like few hundreds of Buddhism, when the Buddha died, the Buddha Gautama died, for a few hundreds of years, he was portrayed as an empty throne next to the tree. And that was there to show that the person who like sit on the throne is basically overcome those limitations and become one with the tree of life, in a way, and was portrayed. So it was quite an incredible experience in a way, and so I didn't know already. Like I think I kind of knew how more or less how many nights I was there, but then I came out of there, and yeah, the vision was very clear. I knew that this is something I'd like to share with people. I'd like to share this connection to nature. Through that connection, we can actually go beyond our limitations of the body. So kind of like what is next to us, right, is our voice. We use mantra for it as well. So we can use this when we say our word, we become bigger. But also the nature around us, right? It's also something which is very near to us, which we can expand out. So it was very clear for me. I was like very excited with the idea to just start bringing people here and sharing those practices. And yeah, I've called the friends, and we next month we organized the retreats, and we had like almost 100 people came. And so since then it was, yes, it's the second summer this year we did the retreats, and each of them was full. So we were amazed of the demand, and the feedback is as well amazing. It was so heartwarming to be with people and, you know, meet the people who are also on the path, and like yourself, for example, is just blessing. It's it's changed my life, because I've you know, I made this my focus, and I realized that this is, you know, this is what I love doing, and this is what, you know, that feedback showed me that it's not just sometimes when we choose for ourselves what is our mission, sometimes it's not just what we think it is, but what other people value. You know, that's important.
Now, with this, I love that you experienced it firsthand yourself so deeply and then shared it with us. But going deeper into the wisdom of the trees, do you feel like all trees share the same wisdom? Or do certain trees have different spiritual and energetic characteristics than other trees? And do you personally feel these differences when you meditate at different trees?
Yes. The interesting thing with the trees that they not just absorb minerals and water, for example, with the roots, but they also commune with the radiation sources, also information sources from cosmos as well, the light as well. So they, in a way, that's what in Bhagavad-gita is talking about, the upside down tree, which is the, you know, and yogic traditions as well, quite a lot talking about the upside down tree. In Slavic tradition as well, in Russia, that's where, you know, the oak upside down. So this reflects that the tree is also communing with those sources as well. So, and it creates certain pattern because there are different leaves, different, so they create different pattern of the energetical pattern of the frequencies. It can perceive, it's like what can perceive, what it makes certain shape. So that determines the certain qualities the tree hold to it. And you can feel it by going to it and perhaps, you know, touching it, or you can go even farther than that. You might want to hug. Go extreme, you know.
I'm a tree hugger.
So yeah, you could potentially feel that, Matt, because under the bark, that's where all those electricities travel. So when you hug, or you can touch, or you sit on their back, you can feel that. And there are studies done, particularly very interesting. One of the leading experts in UK is Fred Hageneder, is my friend actually, which I got to know him. We're gonna, hopefully we'll do next summer, we'll do retreat together. It's amazingly knowledgeable man about the, he's got a website called the meaningofthetrees.com, I believe, or .uk, something, check out. So he's actually like studied that and what qualities they give. So for example, the oak tree is unique because it's got this neutral frequency radiation out of it. So it's, in a way, what does it mean? And what you bring to it, that's what you give back, or that's what it gives back. So that's quite unique. And the birches, for example, is more of a supporting the birthing process, or like a new things, bringing in new things. For example, it's quite traditionally in Russia, particularly birch tree, known as a kind of national tree, and the shamanic tree as well. So when the shamans have the initiation, there's a certain ceremony where the birch tree is planted, and they wait for like 7 years, and then they do certain ceremony around it. And you can ask the birch tree to help you in your new beginnings. So they kind of provide that pioneering. You probably notice when they grow in a field, there is nothing else but just birch trees pioneering. And it's also always young. You know, you don't see old trees, right? Old birch tree. It's kind of young, and then it goes away. So the oak tree is different. It kind of stays there for like thousands of years. So, and so on. Then we have a bodhi tree as well, the fig tree. There's also a different it's more reflecting the attitude of freedom. So, for example, in sutras like Sadharma Pundarika Sutra, for example, it's specifically talking about how Buddhas get enlightened, and like Tathagatas. So the Buddhas is not the one person. The Buddha means awakened, liberated, or someone who gone through it. So it's not the title, it's not the name, it's just a quality. So, and it's talking about that this particular tree in Bodh Gaya, it will be there where the next Maitreya Buddha, for example, will get enlightened. And it's also talking about when from the other dimensions, because Buddhas can travel as well, so they can come, and when they come, they choose a tree, so to sit behind them. So it's the folklore is full of that, and you know, we all know about the tree of life everywhere in each culture is present. So do I really feel it myself? I haven't, like, I really went ahead with the oak trees, because the oak trees is also what druids use for that. The oak trees, the druid itself means the one with the wisdom of the tree, with the wisdom of the oak, actually, with the wisdom of the oak. And the Dru, like druid, means also in Sanskrit and the Okhan language, which is door, the door between realities.
I didn't know that.
So they use it for it, and for I just be honest, I haven't spent much, maybe like going into too deeper meditations with other tree rather than oak. So I can talk for the oak. I definitely feel that, and I feel the depth, and I feel that wisdom. I had some like mystical experiences there, which is just leaving no doubts for me.
Okay, so I like you said, so the oak tree you found is a very neutral, energetic tree. What you give, you get back. So you sat there for 3 days, and you fasted, you cleansed your bowels before you sat in this tree. That's incredible, and just felt one with the tree. And you felt after this experience that it cleared your mind, answered your doubts, whatever you needed. Did you set an intention before you meditated for 3 days?
No, I didn't. I think sometimes it's good to go with a tree and ask the tree in a way, like ask yourself, just clear out. I think my questions were there. And I didn't need to kind of logicalize them. I didn't need to sort of bring them to surface, because, you know, essentially when I was saying that I was looking for the place, I knew already that something is built up within me that needed to come out, or needed some answers like beyond my logical mind. So perhaps maybe in my, you know, career, or like what I was doing, perhaps, like, so I felt the need, and I think that was the intention. That was the question. You know?
Thank you for sharing this. It's such a simple way for people to just get in touch and more grounded, is just lay their head back against a tree, sit against a tree, and feel the subtle yet profound energetic effects and benefits. So that's a great tip that people can do with trees that are everywhere. And hopefully they don't chop more of the trees down in the world.
Let's just grow them. Don't worry about people who's chopping them. Let's just invest in growing, or helping the people who grow. There's a charity called the Tree Sisters. They're amazing. They're doing a really great job. And we gave some of from the last year, we gave £1 from each ticket towards them, and the natural flow retreat we did just before and beyond, we also gave them more. And so, yeah, just, you know, there's a saying one of my teachers told me once that, you know, don't worry about the old forest. Old forest will die itself. It'll die and it fall. Just make sure you grow the new forest. The new forest will stay, and the full forest, you don't need to go and spend your energy chopping it. So it will just decay itself. So
such a wise point. Thank you. And, you know, you chose to step away from a successful business career to gain a deeper understanding of the yogic tradition in both Kundalini and Hatha. Can you please share why the change?
Yeah, I think after some of the
I think the internet connection is not working. Hopefully, sorry guys, I think Dema's out in the forest, near the river. I know exactly where he is in this bubble, and the internet connection doesn't seem to be upholding. Unless it's my internet connection. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Just type a yes if you can. Or a no. Sorry, the internet connection is not very good on your end. Can you guys hear me? Oh, thanks, Angel. I think it's Dimitri. Dimitri, your internet is not very good. I'm just gonna write. Oh, thank you, James. Thank you. Okay. So hopefully it comes back soon. But the bubble.
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but your internet connection seems to not be consistent.
Okay, well, I could walk with it, you know.
You're a bit fuzzy on my end, but I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'll walk you give you a little excursion to around. Maybe you'll find, okay, here's like some mushrooms here. Okay, and just let me know when it's a good connection.
Okay, well, I can hear you really well, and that looks a little bit better.
Okay.
Again, there looks good.
Okay, good. Maybe I'll sit by the fireplace, so we'll come to.
So by this fireplace where we did our breathing techniques before we did our 7 a.m. swim in the Thames.
That's right.
Every day for 5 days. It was very invigorating. There's something over your camera.
Yeah. I'm just gonna sort it out now. I'm gonna put the tripod out.
I'll let you guys know. I'm also trained as a free diver. So the techniques that we used before immersing ourselves in the cold, refreshing were beneficial in heating our bodies up before the swim. And then after the swim, we had to like rub our skin with the towel really vigorously. Luckily, there was a fire to keep us generate some heat, and that really flushes out the toxins in the body, clears the mind.
How's it going?
Such a nice way to start the day. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Can you hear me okay as well?
Yes, I can hear you good.
Perfect. Well, it's nice to come by the river as well. Thank you, Connection, for moving us about. Yeah. So In the meditation retreat, I just saw how much of my mind is constantly preoccupied with the business things, like improving. I want to be like a director of a company which we were like basically managing the busy production of it, and my mind was like constantly on the third day of meditation retreat where we're trying to just calm it down. I'm finding myself, thinking about innovations, thinking about how we're gonna bottle this thing, and it's just like was so overpowering. So it for me was just clear that this how much of the stuff we do is actually taking over us.
Mm.
It's become like us rather than actually like our true self in a way living. So our profession or our like lifestyle becoming something which is like much more than real self. So after a while, I just also understood one thing, that what you put your effort, that's what grows in your life. And I clearly saw that I can't waste my time on something else, which part of something which I truly love and truly believe. So, and I thought this is something I really love and something people really appreciate, my service, and I just need to give it a proper go, because otherwise it'll be too late. So I just give up everything and start putting my effort into teaching yoga, teaching meditation, teaching pranayams, organizing these retreats, and I never regretted it. It's been amazing to there's so many friendship as well grow from it, because you meet the people which are probably you met in the previous lives, because in yogic tradition it says when you step into your mission you meet people who were sharing that path with you before, and your message can be only given to those ones who you have this karmic connection. So your karmic friends in a way. So and your idea is you find those karmic friends, as many as possible, and give them back this what you probably took from them, or so. Yeah, since then I've been on the journey, and not planning to go back to this venue.
You're interesting because you mentioned to me as well finding your sangha or your tribe, and really finding people in the same path, same journey, which is similar to what you're saying now. Is when you find your mission, you find your path, you naturally attract those who are your tribe. And I didn't know it was tied into your karmic past lives as well. So that's interesting.
Mm. Yeah, the sangha, the community of friends around you who still also on the path is so important. Don't overestimate it, because you can be yourself, but then we constantly interchange. So having this community of friends, or trying to go back to those people who also on the path, meet them often, or go to those kind of retreats, or where they come together, then it's so uplifting and upholding in a way. So doing something what you truly feel the calling, it's just bringing those people you have connection with, and your current connection, that's what you current in love, not like for example, people you were friends when you were in school, going to the nightclubs and getting drunk, that's kind of, you already have changed a bit, right? You want to move on, and you want to look back on it, and sometimes those friends are just dragging you back to it. It's actually stepping into it and accepting it. You have changed, and moving on with this.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Like, spend all your energy in moving forward, not backward. Don't look back, just go forward in the tribe. So thank you for sharing that point. And now you despite learning two traditional yoga techniques, Kundalini and Hatha, you started to develop your own style of yoga through Sadhama. Can you please explain what is the difference, and as opposed to other traditional styles, and what inspired you to start this new tradition?
Yeah, I feel it's not necessarily a completely new tradition. It's just looking back into the authentic tradition of yoga and how it was passed, and also looking into the other traditions and to see how they were passed. Like the biggest teachers in our world, they were teaching certain way and they had a logic to it. So, and also I understood that after, when you working with certain techniques, you start learning about yourself and the technique, right? And also, if you're a teacher, you see the feedback, how they work with other people. So I've noticed something which is none of the teacher schools I was graduating from was talking about, that actually the techniques should be applied according to your constitution. It's not one size fits all for everybody. So it is unique, because that's how Patanjali was teaching as well. And not many people know that the Patanjali was also the person who combined the Yoga Sutras, also was an Ayurvedic doctor. So, and the Ayurveda uses this, shares the terminology with yoga, and is basically like a sister science of it. So, and what on its base, it always looked at your constitution, at your self, and then applies certain technique accordingly. So why is the yoga different? So the yoga is no different. It has to be applied accordingly to you. If I'm, for example, I have a tendency to heat up, or, then something which is like lots of breath of fire, so stuff like that, which is good for other people, for kapha, for people who get more water predominance, is good for them. They need cooling. But for me, it's just going to be overheating, and my mind is just going to be even more, exploded. So I've started understanding this, and I've started to apply it to me as well. And I've seen what changes have happened, with my work environment, how I relate to people, and how suddenly my colleagues, don't, get upset with me when I'm like too critical or something like that, or I'm just firing up on someone for something like not related. So I saw it's like how benefiting in me, and I start looking deeper into it, and I start to understand, okay. And then at some point there was like a massive download of the understanding how in Sadhama Pundarika Sutra as well, the Buddha is talking about how he was giving the teaching accordingly to people constitution, inclination, character. So in fact, some teachings are not given to everybody. He was only giving it to bodhisattvas, to the certain people. So I saw that, and it was clear for me. Start researching the roots of the yoga. I start understanding. Okay, it's just it's just because it's arrived to the West after some of the Ayurvedic Ayurvedic hospitals was closed down by British presence in India. So it was that disconnection appeared, and it's just pushed one arm against and not the other arm. So I realized it, and I saw the importance of this knowledge, and I decided to just bring this forth and try to really bring the tradition of the personalized education back into, and that's where it's all come from. So Sadharma, it means Sat, true, Dharma, your own way, right? The true Sad Dharma, in a way. So that's where it's all coming from.
Thank you so much. That is such a game changer in the way yoga is taught in society now. I think teaching yoga unique to each person's characteristic, which makes sense. And it's not a one size fits all, you know. So I think that is a great approach. So guys, please, if you want to go deeper in your yoga study, please check out Sadhama and what they offer. I personally believe in it. And Dimitri, what would be your advice to someone who is new to the yoga practice?
I would probably go straight away and cut about I don't know, 8 years of the wandering and then trying different things. I would first understand your constitution. Choose Ayurvedic practitioner who can help you, or perhaps there's some good tests available, quizzes. But if you do quiz yourself, maybe do it with someone you know, like your parents or your husband or your wife, who you can bounce back. Sometimes our view to ourselves a little bit different than other people look at it. Everybody says the question is there, for example, how critical you are. No, I'm not critical at all. And then you understand that actually, so sometimes we view ourselves, so you can do that. And then, so once you understand your constitution, what predominance you have, you could understand first, okay, if your constitution is Pitta, if the constitution is fire predominance, then you want to have more meditative, less.
Oh no, the Wi-Fi is cutting out again. Oh, sorry, I thought the Wi-Fi cut out. We just missed the last 2 minutes, like 30 seconds. You said Pitta.
Okay.
Pitta. If you know your constitution is fiery, then you need more meditative practices. That's what you were saying.
That's right. You need more of a calming practices, more to cool down that natural inherent fire within you. Something which is not too standing up postures, for example, could be too much tension in them, right? Too much strive. If Pitta even like doing the slow motion sequence, it'll be doing it harder than anybody else. So you know about yourself. Okay, I'm gonna be naturally like this, so let me do something which is pacifying that. And amazing for Pitta. You can work out, but make sure in the end you cool it down with a certain pranayams, like a cooling pranayams, not Kapalabhati, not too much breath of fire. You can do them, but you need to finish them in certain cooling ways. So you end up finishing your practice with a peaceful sense. And so you come back to your family and you actually, have a nice conversation rather than come back and like white and so find out about yourself first. What is your predominances, and choose the sequences and the sadhana, your yogic practice, your personal yogic practice, sadhana as well in yoga. So choose it accordingly so you can pacify. Normally opposite. So if you fire, you need more water. If you water, you need more fire. If you air, you can balance. In the morning, it could be a little bit more fiery. In the evening, cooling down.
Great advice for new beginners. And that is such a game changer. I still can't believe it. I didn't even figure that out until recently. I thought, oh my God, when you say it, it makes sense. And another thing you mentioned quite several times on the retreat is Milarepa, the Tibetan yogi. And for those who don't know, he was a murderer when he was a young man before turning into Buddhism, and then became a highly accomplished Buddhist disciple. So I didn't know about this until you mentioned it. And can you please share like some of your insights or verses from the 100,000 songs of Milarepa and any other passages from him that you found inspiring?
Yeah, the Milarepa, in a way, for me, it's represent that saying: there is no saint without a past. There is no like a murderer without future, in a way. So that kind of it's a complicated story. I wouldn't call him like straight away like a murderer in a way. So he developed some of the abilities, and his mom asked him to basically like to punish some of the people who brought some lots of struggles to their family, and he like managed to, you know, like gain those magical powers, and he sent this like a storm over the village, and then it's got destroyed, and then some people died, and then afterwards he went on and on with like different teachers, and what teachers did with him, it was absolutely incredible, because it's a blessing to find a proper teacher who can not just, you know, give you that easy techniques, which is just to kind of treat your ego. Oh, I can do this, I can. But the real teacher, he can see the karmic weight on you, and often given some ascetic techniques to what happens is when we struggle a bit on the mat, so we burn those karmic weight in a way from our baggage, which we have already. So they say the yogis struggle on the mat but enjoy the life in a way. So that's why you want to have some of that ascetic aspects in your practice. So what Marpa and Niropa, it's the teachers of Milarepa, was giving him some like absolutely crazy things to do. He had to like build this tower, for example, 7-story tower every time, and then Marpa, his teacher, come back and saying, "Oh no, this window is not straight. You have to destroy it and like start again." So he was doing like a bit, and then he transformed that within his life, and that's what, in a way, that's what Buddha did when he was retreated into the village, into the cave, and stayed in Mahakala cave.
Wi-Fi just cut out, and I think there's some background noise.
Okay, so I've got the
Helicopter.
yeah, helicopter come.
Okay. That's a bit better. Maybe if you speak closer to the speaker, yeah.
Okay.
That's better. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, well, I can be like this. I can be close.
Yeah, perfect. So you were saying there was the tower, and then his teacher came and said the window is not right.
Yeah, that's right. He had to like do it again. So just to clear that karma with his effort, the tapas effort, asceticism. So he did that again and again and again, and that's what you see in the pattern of the sages. That's what they did. Even the Buddha, Gautama Buddha, he went to a cave and did some crazy yogic ascetic techniques for almost 6 years. He was just complete extreme techniques, which he almost died himself, because there are some texts telling what he has been doing there, and it's complete extreme. So he did that. So the teacher was giving him to process that, and then to overcome those baggage within this life. So he had to do that. So his teacher saw it, and he was kind of guided him to release that karma. So he overcome that, and then you can become one of the most accomplished realized master in this world. And the Repa Mila, it's a name, and the Repa is like is the title in a way. And the title means the one who can generate the inner heat. That have you heard of in Tibet they have like exam. So at some point you have to be able to generate that heat. You do certain techniques, and then you need to be able to dry the sheets on your shoulders. So you go and sit naked on the mountain, and they give you the wet sheet, and you're supposed to dry it with your power of your heat from the body. And so Repa means the one who got this knowledge in a way, passed the exam. so that's the Milarepa means. And that's why they were going about with very, very, thin cotton clothes. They never wear something very warm. So because they were able to balance the temperature of the body with these techniques.
Oh, that's amazing. They can control their nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. What is some of the crazy things that Buddha did that you mentioned?
Yeah, there are sutras where he's talking about it. I can post it somewhere, the name of the sutras, and particularly there he's talking about how he was holding the breath, and for a certain time, and then he was explaining the fire was coming out from his ears, he was with the nose and stuff like that. So there's Buddha had two yoga teachers before he went to the cave, and then at some point he was studying with the teachers, and then he would overcome their ability, and he will leave the teacher, he'll go to the other. Mm-hmm. So he had 2 yoga teachers before, and then he moved on and then found that 5 ascetic friends, and they went to this Mahakala cave, which you can go now. I went a couple of years ago to visit that cave. Amazing. There's a steel statue there of the Buddha with looking like a skeleton. So he put himself to such extreme practices, which he almost died. So he didn't eat anything. He was just eating one seed of rice and 1 seed of hemp seed. So he eat hemp seed once, and he did it. First, he did it every day. Mm-hmm. Then he dropped it, started eating every other day. Mm-hmm. Then every 3rd day. Then every 4th day. Then every 5th day, and got it to I believe 7 or 12 days. So 1 seed to get to that point. Even as hemp, such a good nutritional seed, but still, if you get it only that. And so after that, when he come out of it, he said, "Don't do it." He said, "Don't do it. if you're gonna die, it's not worth it. So choose the middle path, and that's the story of the middle path, where it's describing how you choose it and stuff, and that's a big topic on its own as well.
Just another, just out of curiosity, I know you meditated inside a tree for nearly 3 days, which is also can seem somewhat crazy, right? Is there any other thing that you've personally done that you consider to be quite extreme?
There's another way. So it's not necessarily best to share too much of that, or so it can be seen as some kind of like bravade, right? It's so there is one of the things which Milarepa saying, and also the yogic practices as well. So you have the siddhi, right? The supernatural abilities which yogi can develop, and one of them, one of the ethical norms prescribe, you don't talk about them. So it's not necessarily now that we don't have those yogis who can do all of that stuff, like flying, like all the other amazing, amazing. They described, actually, there's like 41 siddhi, supernatural abilities, I believe, and they actually one by one you can talk about each of them. They describe, but they say if you don't want to kind of lose, or if you don't want to, you kind of keep it quiet to yourself, sort of.
I understand. Thank you for sharing that. And one of the famous texts, the Bhagavad-gita. Can you share some of your favorite lessons, or your favorite lesson from the Bhagavad-gita?
Just before I opened that book, which book it was? I think it was Tree Yoga by Fred Hagener, and it was saying that actually in Bhagavad-gita is saying that the Bodhi tree is reincarnation of the Krishna, of the Brahma himself. Which I kind of didn't notice. That was interesting to hear. But the other thing is, which was also brought all this Sadhama yoga for, is that's what Bhagavad-gita states when the Krishna is talking about the beginning. He's saying that at first I've created the two types of yoga. The Jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, for the people with the contemplative bend of mind. And the second is the karma yoga. The karma mean action. The karma mean action. The second is the karma yoga for people who have more active constitution. So you see what he basically saying is like, is acknowledging that the people have certain characters. Even in the beginning on the rules, it was already given at you. And why now we are all practicing the same thing? It's like it's a big question. So that's something which has struck me quite deeply.
Thank you. Yes, you mentioned that earlier with the Ayurvedic approach to yoga and health as well. I think I think that's a key point. What principle of living in harmony with nature from a Vedic perspective do you feel is lacking in the modern world today?
I think it's sometimes you can notice for yourself. It's very easy to, when we are in a town, so constantly in the buildings, under the roof, we kind of zoom zoom in. You know, because we don't see the sky, we don't see the season changes, we don't really notice those things. And expansion of it. And sometimes when you just step out of it into the nature, you see how everything is interconnected and everything is changes, that constant change, and then it's necessarily like not a bad thing, like for example, the rain, you know, that maybe it's bad for you because you can't wear your new dress, but like it's amazing for all these plants and the other neighbors of the farmers. So you see, everything is kind of has its place. So I think this is quite a big thing. And generally, the main thing for me here is that sensation of separatism. So you feel yourself separate. Okay, me is here, and the nature is something else. But it actually it doesn't work like that. You know, nature doesn't exist. You don't exist. So when we, you know, do our waste into it, or we destroy certain things, we just cutting that branch where we're sitting on, in a way. So we carry on. So I think that aspect of oneness beyond the limited body, that we are separate, this is a big thing.
That's a great point. That yeah, we're cutting off the branch that we're sitting on by harming our environment and Mother Nature, that holds us and gives us the And yes, no, thinking, I do agree when you said about with the rain. Like yesterday it was raining. I was like, oh, damn. Like I wanted to be outside, enjoy the last outdoor performance. But then yeah, it is easily to get sucked into that mentality of this is me, you know, my little bubble compared to, oh, this rain is benefiting the farmers and the ocean water level and whatever else it may be benefiting. So that's good to come out and pop my little bubble there. And how has learning, like just for your personal experience, now that you're an Ayurvedic wellness consultant, how has learning the practices influenced your personal yoga practice?
Oh, shifted quite a lot. I used to just, you know, had certain routine which I was carry on. In Kundalini yoga, you do like 40 days sadhana, you do 90 days or like 1,000 days of certain thing if you want to work it through. And that's how I was getting on. I would choose certain things to work on, and then I'll work. And then, you know, with time, I acknowledge that, you know, there's sometimes I feel there's different seasons. I feel differently. There's different things I need to do during the day. So I perhaps choose my practice more. So it's just made me more aware of what consequences and what I want to generate. And you choose your practice like your food. You know, you want to be, I don't know, you want to have a little bit more energy, right? You get more sugary stuff, right? Or like some kind of raw cacao or something like that to kind of perk you up. And then the same with the techniques, right? If I know that I have a more day, like a day where I need to be more on it, I perhaps do certain pranayama to kind of get me set for it. Or if I need to be calm and you know, perhaps unite in the different dots and see the things as a whole, perhaps I'll do more meditative practice. And if I knew I need to, you know, work with my body. I definitely make sure I do certain stretches but it's all gonna be under umbrella of my constitution. I won't do something which gonna just be against my constitution, my predominances of elements I have as a current state, Vikruti, or the constitution, Prakriti. So through the lens of it, I just normally choose for ourselves. And that's what I recommend, because, it's not just about having the consultations all the time. It's actually learning it for yourself, because then you have that tool set which you can always draw on. And that's how Ayurveda is normally. It's not like, even when you have someone to consult with, is excellent to grow on that, but it's not a disciple, it's a student. You learn yourself, and you learn, and that's like science of life is translated. Ayurveda, Ayur, life, Veda is knowledge or science, so knowledge of life. So you become a student of it, so you're not becoming a disciple of it. So you kind of learn it, and then move on, applying it to yourself, and then helping others. Yeah.
And can you recommend some daily Ayurvedic practices our listeners can incorporate into their life to improve their mood and well-being?
For the autumn, I believe. So we get into the change of the season, transition, which is quite a special time, because yogis always looked on the transition time. It's like a dawn or sunset. It's a transition, right? And that's why it's good to do some kind of practice there. Sometimes people interpret it differently. Sometimes they feel, it's a time to have a glass of wine or something like that, because they feel there's something changed within them. In the heart, something calling, something wants that expandness, wants that opening, but people don't often interpret very well. So the same thing with the autumn is a bit of a transformational time. So there's lots of prana in predominant in the atmosphere, and normally those times used for the practices of pranayama. So pranayama don't recommend it like a proper deep practices for like too much in the winter, too much in the summer, too hot, or those like transition times are very good for developing those kind of techniques. So lots of prana, you exercise yourself with that, and it's a time of the predominance of the vata, of the air. So the air element goes out of balance first, because it's very mobile, it's very quick to move, and normally it goes out of balance and kicks everything else out of balance. So most of the time, even if you are different constitution, the vata goes out of balance first, and you can fix it with more warming foods. It's naturally for us, right? In this time, a bit more soup, maybe more like nutritional soups, like stews or beans and proteiny things. Something which could be a little bit more oily this time, because you kind of building up towards the winter. That's with the food, and just looking after yourself, warming yourself. But the main thing with the vata going out of balance is the daily routine. So this is the main thing which gets the out of balance vata. So I think if I would choose what to address this autumn, I would address your routine, your daily routine. Daily routine means what time you go sleep, what time you wake up, what time your food is, and what time your activity is basically having the time for each, allocating that time. Sorting out, trying to wake up a little bit earlier, go sleep a little bit late earlier, and then wake up earlier. So from 10 to 1 o'clock p.m., try to sleep, so there is more production of the endorphins. You feel happier throughout the whole day, because the day becomes shorter, less sunlight, less production of the endorphins, less production of the happy hormones. So you want to be able to generate them naturally, and that generation happens from that 10 to 1 p.m. at night. So that's 3 hours is essential to be, but you can wake up earlier with the sun. So if you want to address one thing, address this. If you want to address whole thing, address your diet and address your practice. Little bit more gentler yoga, more warming pranayams could get involved in for vatas and in that autumn period. So that's just a snippet of the more.
That's a key. I think it's a great point that the happy hormones will start to go down with the lack of sunlight. So getting your key hours of rest or sleep between 10 p.m. and 1 p.m. to self-generate that yourself, rather than relying on the outdoor nature or conditions. I think that's a key point to,
Yeah, self-sufficiency all the way. So the yogis was quite activists always.
Yes, like that's what I'm on a personal journey now, to try and actually give me a little diagram of how the energy leaks. You know, you were saying anger leaks through. Anger is the first one to like deplete all your energy. And I'm like, yes, now I notice in my life when I get angry, oh my God, my energy is depleted. So it's such a waste of my energy to get angry. Now I think that before I get angry, I'm like, do I really want to be angry about the situation or not? And
something what Milarepa actually is now pop out. Milarepa said about the anger is like you're always gonna burn yourself first with the anger.
Yeah. I feel it. I feel the burn, especially with my parents. They give me a lot of anger. But that's one of my personal journey now is, and just sharing with anyone who's interested, is to master my own energy and be like a self-fulfilling, my own energy myself, to generate that energy myself, rather than relying too much externally on anything, whether that's the nature or materialistic things or even sometimes food, you know, just to almost, I don't know if you've heard of this, like breatharians, just generate that prana themselves and living freely. And I thought, wow, like this is, I don't know if I can accomplish to that extreme, but just for the subtle things like emotional awareness about what's triggering my anger, or is my digestion taking up too much of my energy? If am I overeating, that slows the pipe down of the flow. So, and those, yeah,
it's very Ayurvedic thing to be intuitive, to be like choosing the practice intuitively, choosing your diet intuitively as well, hearing yourself, trying to hear what is asking. But the thing with here, it's you need to be aware of your constitution. Sometimes it could be could be other voice is saying. So if you kapha, for example, if you water predominance, which is naturally want to slow down or very slow to get going. Once it's going, it's very good. I'm gonna go faster than anybody, or like longer than anybody else. But you know, you could say, "Oh, this is my intuition to stay in bed for until 10 o'clock." Or is that? So you gotta be obviously wise and careful with intuition, understanding that where is that quality. So that's why the knowledge of your constitution, of yourself, helps. Then you know, okay, here's probably my weak point is uniting, and here's actually a true whisper of the heart talking.
Good point. And can you share with us just your personal morning routine? Just I'm curious, because I know you have a little one, and I thought, oh, how do you manage to do all this and fit all this in?
Yeah. Depending, it will be depending on what I do and what it's like what day, and I've got a little one as well to look after in the mornings as well. So, but I can tell you a little bit what I definitely not miss. I wake up and I do stretches in the bed just before I get out. So there's like a few essential stretches to adjust your spine before you move on. So you just stretch towards your heels, the toes towards you, and stretch away towards your palms and the heels. And you do that once you wake up. Give yourself a little, all animals do that. It's so important for us to stretch it when we wake up. Then I pull the knees towards my chest. I hug the knees and bring the nose towards the knees, like kind of roll into that. So this is the good one to liberate the gases and stuff like that, just to get your stretch the back as well. And then I do the opposite thing, which is the fish pose, when you press the elbows in and then look kind of back. You sort of flex your chest out. So you do opposite flex of the spine. And then you do the twist, the cat stretch, to knees to one side, look opposite direction, and then both knees to the other side, look opposite direction, twist your spine. And then you activate your ankles. Just rotate your ankles, and then you stand up, give yourself again another stretch while you're standing up, and then you move on. Once you move on, the first thing I do is to clean my tongue. So you can get the scrapers, or you can use the spoon, but the scrapers are much more comfortable, and effective. So you can analyze your health, but by the layer on your tongue. If it's any color rather than sort of white, you can contact Ayurvedic practitioner perhaps to consult about your health, because there might be something going on there. So you clean your tongue first, then you could do the teeth cleaning, and then perhaps afterwards you could I use one sometimes not. There's herbal oils for the massaging your gums, and then I massage, and then I perhaps add little bit coconut oil and do some oil pulling. You can use different types of oil for your constitution, depending on your constitution. If you are Vata, you could be almond oil. If you are Pitta, it's a coconut oil, it's cooling. If you are Kapha, then something more perky, like the mustard oil could be done as well, or certain combination of the herbs infused in that. So you do that, and then at this time you can also, if you don't have much time for your yoga, to include the movement of the stomach. So I'll pull in the stomach and do some rotation to one side, rotation to other side, get those digestive tract activated, get those residuals of the food move. The unprocessed food can be moved as well with this practice, and it's generally this vacuum pulling the energy up as well. So that, and then I drink warm water, like a glass of warm water, and if it's depending on the season, I could perhaps include some herbs in it. If I feel something, I don't know, if I see my rest of my family is having the cold or something, or I feel something on the back of my throat, then I could put almost a teaspoon or 3/4 of the teaspoon of the turmeric in my cup, and I drink that to just clarify that blood. So that, and then I do the pranayama, I do yoga set to stretch, and then depending what I have, perhaps I could do the meditation before that, depending how I feel, or if I early enough awaken. So sometimes I feel meditative, so I go straight to meditation, or other time I would try to do the little pranayamas at least to get the passages clean, to energize a little bit, and do some stretching, some yoga sets after, and then I'll do the do the gratitude journal, perhaps just to put something in the middle, gratitude, and you put the around it what you gratitude, just to tune in yourself. Just before, I like to tune in myself to that abundance, to that gratitude, to that positive thinking before I start writing my to-do list. And from that kind of gratitude, and then I know how much I actually have already, so I feel more, I can see more opportunities, and that this time I write my to-do list points, and yeah, crack on with the day.
Thank you for sharing that in-depth morning routine, and I completely I can see it takes a lot of dedicated that time to do that regularly, but I can see the importance of every step and how it can set you up for the rest of the day quite well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes when you have that experience, you just know. If you don't do, I know already. If I don't do it, I just perform differently. I just won't be able to deliver certain things in a way I want to. The standard I set up for myself, I know that if I just not in that position, and that's the thing. If you wake up, it's important when you wake up. If you wake up like a few hours, like 9 or 8 o'clock even, or even then you constantly feeling behind. You always feel behind. So that's why it's called Brahma Muhurta, 2.5 hours before the sunrise and around sunrise. So that's the time you ideally wake up. And then you with the rhythm of the sun, things come to you, the problems, or you already know how to react. You kind of feeling it coming, and you sort of there to not to react necessarily, but act with the, that's the difference, right? If you want to react, then you wake up after 7. If you want to act, then you might want to consider wake up with the sun.
What time do you, with the sun, I guess that varies. Now we can sleep in a little bit because the sun comes up later.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's always a challenge. It's a bit of a victory every day. Yeah. It's not that you tackled it and that's it. I find if you wake up for for someone else, to do something for someone, or I went to the retreats and I volunteered to do the gong, the bell for everybody in the morning.
Yeah.
And when I came back, amazing. I was like waking up myself just so easy. And
Oh.
I think if it's some kind of thing when we also do it for someone, not just for ourselves, then it's easier to implement. So think of what you could do, what this morning routine, what is this early morning wake up can help someone. So just find something like that, and that could support you.
That just came to my mind, like when I wake up in the morning, maybe send a message to other people that, you know, again, engage in your sangha, your tribe. You can send an uplifting message, and that can brighten their day. So that intention.
As long as they don't hate you for that.
Like the girl, she's awake at 5 a.m. sending me messages.
Yeah.
And knowing your in-depth morning routine, I've just thought, do you have an evening routine that you do as well?
Yeah, I think the main one, I meditate before the morning. It's like a cleaning the house, you know. We got so much interaction going on, and we certainly interchange the energies. And if you want to be in tune with your heart and in tune with your voices and understand your intuition, hear your intuition clearly, you want to clean that house regularly. Otherwise, it's just we wake up a little bit different every time if we don't clean the house. So with those things start rotting, you know, and stuff like that. If you left that mushroom before, for the night, it might start growing some kind of other things in the morning. The same thing with the meditation before going to sleep. So if you don't clear it, clear the mind until you'll notice it for yourself. You meditate until you feel that you can feel your essence again, and then you wake up and you know this. You don't have this kind of visitors in your mind that you thought you already solved this problem of smoking or drinking or whatever else not serving you, and it's that persisting desire comes back, and that could be that you picked it up from this, you know, people you've been in contact all the time. So those techniques, it could be mantra chanting, or it could like something which cleansing you in like mentally and spiritually. So I find meditation is very important, and I don't miss that one. So whatever happens, I try even like however minutes it is, I try to sit there for some time.
That's a good point. Thank you for sharing that. I think that will benefit so many people. Just the idea behind the intention about why you do this. That is so pivotal. And my last question, which is, I'm just curious your opinion on this. And do you think yoga and Ayurveda is a science or a religion?
Oh, well, it's totally a science. It's Veda, it means science, like knowledge, all right? So that's the kind of, and it's, you could also take as much as you need. You can take that raisin out from your meal. If you don't like the raisin, take the raisin out and eat the rest of the meal. It's going to be good for you. So it's like a porridge, right? With the raisin or without the raisin. I can take that raisin out, and you don't have to swallow a whole peel. There are lots of, you know, religion organizations will build up on top of it with all these rituals, with all this kind of stuff, which is not necessarily the rituals it was more internal rituals. All rituals can be performed internally, so it's not about, you know, some kind of dancing 3 times around the tree and then and then bumming the head on the top, and then it's kind of comes the thing. So it has very, very clear benefits, and it's yoga is the Chitta Vritta Nirodhi. There is a understanding what is definition of yoga is the calming the fluctuation of the mind. Is the calming of fluctuations of your mind is religion? It's universal, right? Everybody have the mind, everybody have the worries and disturbances of the mind. So the yoga is calming those disturbances. And the techniques, like for example, it does say yama and niyamas in yoga, which you can say like precepts, right? But they say like don't kill or don't steal, like, or clean your body clean, or keep your body clean. That means so you can calm those fluctuations of the mind to see beyond that mind, to see yourself, to see your true self, to see your connection beyond. And you can't quite do it if you, for example, stealing something or you lying to someone. You can't quite be still. You can't be calm, because when you sit, you remember about it. Oh, I like this person, and you don't feel good, and it's constantly coming back. And or you killed something, and you can't sit still anymore after that, because when you sit still, you know that you did something not necessarily great, right? And that's and there's precepts in a way. There's yamas and niyamas in yoga. They just helping you to prevent this kind of thing, because if you do that, you're calm. If I don't lie, I don't need to worry about remembering everything what I said here, and maybe like next time someone not gonna catch me. So it's just very practical things. It's better I be truthful, and then I can be relaxed, and I can be joyful with my communication, and people trust. So that's much easier. So from that perspective, I don't see that religion aspect, but I see some organizations do that for their benefit, but it's not in the original terms.
I see. Thank you for sharing. Yes, I also agree. I think it's a science. And now, more importantly, like, I'd love you to tell the audience more about what you do, your website, social media, and how people can contact you if they have any questions.
I think the easiest way to find us, if you type Sadhama Rewild Retreats, and we've got the page there. Now we're in the also through Instagram. I start using Instagram quite a lot, and so I'm using it. And we now in the process of developing a platform where we've recorded about like 140 different postures and the sequences, and now we editing them, and we creating the platform where people can do the test and find out for themselves what their predominances are, and we will create the sequences for them, and they can also drag and drop certain exercises they like, which is good for their dosha, good for their character. And so that's what we're doing now, and hopefully we will be doing teacher courses as well, and more of the Rewild retreats in this beautiful Hardwick land where we are. We just agreed to build a geodesic dome there, plus another big practice room. Perhaps could hold like 100 people in there. So we hopefully gonna do here, and people can come more often here for retreats, and we could do it year round as well. So we would love to be able to offer that to people because friends asking, and so we would love to do that. But if you like to learn more, I also do the personal consultations as well. Sometimes I'm not going to be here in October. I'm going actually to Russia for my longest retreat, meditation retreat. But sometimes, and if you resonating with this idea, the Sadhama idea, please get in touch, because we want to create a platform of, and collaborate with other people. Maybe we can work together. There's lots of work could be done, and together we can do that. So get in touch if you have skills, or if you want to be involved. Let's do it together. We will be so thrilled to work together on it.
Can you share with us when the next retreat is in your Hardwick estate?
It'll be next summer. Now we're gonna have 4 dates next year, and it'll all start from May. So stay tuned. Sign into, probably the easiest ways will be to sign into our email list, and that you can do through. If you go to my account for now, maybe I'm gonna add actually to tap link where you can sign in to our email list, and then stay on that, and we will all follow the Instagram. I'll post, and that's because the retreat spaces, we try to keep it. We try to cap the numbers so they're still intimate. So we were sold out. Each of our retreat was sold out this year, and we're probably gonna be the same next year, because we don't wanna make it like 1,000 people sort of. We respect the land, and we respect that intimacy. We want to work. We want to learn with people. So they're gonna be certain numbers of people. So if you want to go on them, so it's better to know before, so you can just secure your place and have fun with us.
Oh, amazing. I know I had the best time at the retreat, and completely immersed myself in nature and the yoga and the food. The food was spectacular, I must say. After doing what they call the triathlon of the meditation, swim, and yoga, it was so divine. Eating the delicious, nurturing food, and the people as well that attracted to your retreats are kind and happy. Like they will have a innate desire to also take care of the earth and nature and respect Mother Earth, which I love to see and be involved in. So thank you so much for your time and sharing this wisdom that you've spent years studying and deciphering, and now condensed it into a course, which will save people like so many years like me figuring out, oh, I should do my dosha type first before attempting a yoga if I'm taking it seriously. Like, yes, figuring this wisdom out, and for sharing with the world what has benefited you, so it can benefit other people as well. So I'm happy to share this wonderful experience and knowledge that I've gained, and with whoever I come across with it on Instagram and off.
Thank you, Ratika, and hopefully, see you again here, and we will get in touch, and
love to. And have a wonderful time, a safe time to your retreat, month long in Russia.
Yeah,
it's not a month in a tree, is it?
No, in a tree. No, it'll be in a retreat center. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that's really intense. Yeah, amazing. And hopefully I can hear some of your insights from that retreat. And thank you for taking the spiritual part of yours to continue to share this with the rest of us. It's so much appreciated and really valuable. So thank you.
Yeah, hopefully this could be any help to someone. So yeah, blessings. That was my little prayer before. I thought that hopefully something could be helpful. And yeah.
I'm sure it is. People have already asked me to save it for the replay. I'm sure that it will be a tremendous help. So thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Bye. Bye.